cost volume profit analysis. And what does I want to say from this cost volume profit analysis is that if you want to study the impact of changes in cost or changes in price or changes in volume on profit, then the format we are currently using, the traditional format we have been using, will not help us that opportunity to see that what is the impact on our profit. If you want to know that changes in our any cost or price or volume, what impact it will have on our profit, we need to put that those things in a different format. That format is called contribution format income statement. This is a very important format used as a tool for decision making. Various kinds of decisions you can take. So decisions like break-even sales. What is the break-even sales? Or if you want to make profit, a certain amount of profit, what should be our sales? Or similar kind of various decisions we can take. Like if you have 2-3 alternatives, that which alternative is best for the organization. So such kind of decisions you can take using this format. So I will suggest all of you to just note down this format first. A small table given here, note down this format. Thereafter, I'll start discussing the rest. So what we are doing in this format, we have sales first. From sales, we deduct variable cost. Okay, and while deducting variable cost, we don't distinguish whether it is manufacturing or non-manufacturing. That means all variable costs are deducted. The difference you get is termed here as contribution or contribution margin. Like we have gross margin, here we have contribution margin. Then from contribution margin, you deduct the fixed cost, and that is your profit. Okay, that is your profit. So we need to put everything in this format if you want to take various kinds of decisions, right? And this is different from traditional format of income statement. And normally it is not disclosed to outsiders. This is for managerial decision making. Contribution margin ratio. What is contribution margin ratio? Contribution, what is contribution? For example, the selling price of a product is say 15 and the cost of buying it is 12, right? Or variable cost is 12. So why variable cost? Because every unit you buy, you have to pay 12. So proportionately, it will increase when the volume will increase. Now, how much we are saving? We are saving 3 rupees. Every unit you sell, you save 3 rupees. And if you sell 1,000 units, how much will be your saving?
3,000.
3,000. And this is called contribution or contribution margin, right? Now, if I say my fixed cost is, because variable cost I already have deducted, my fixed cost is 6,000, right? How many units I need to sell so that I will have a contribution equal to 6,000? How many units?
2 units.
How many?
2,000 units.
2,000 unit.
2,000 units. Okay. So from 1 unit you get 3. So if you sell 2,000 units, it will become 6,000. Okay. So you have to sell 2,000 units. And if you sell 2,000 units, your contribution will be 6,000 and your fixed cost will be 6,000. So how much profit you will have? You'll have
Zero.
Zero profit. That will break
because
even point.
so that is your break even. So how we are getting this break even? Break even we are getting when we are dividing our fixed cost by the contribution made by us for every unit. So 2000 units, I know that if I sell 2000 units, then I will be making break even. That means I will not have any profit. Now, no other format will help you to take this kind of decisions, will not provide you that information on the basis of which you can take the decision. So here this provides us. So we want to have zero profit, zero loss. We need to sell at least 2000 units. Okay. So this is, we know before we do business or before the year starts. So we have to fulfill this target at least. Now, if I want to have another 3000 as my profit, then I need 9000 to be recovered from my contribution. So my contribution is helping me to recover fixed cost as well as profit. So contribution goes on increasing when I sell more volume, more number of units, and that recovers my fixed cost. And if I sell more than that break even, then that gives me profit. So I need to sell 3000 units if I want to have a profit of 3000 rupees, right? Because that will give me a contribution of 9000. Out of 9000, I will pay 6000 my fixed cost, and say 3000 will become my profit. Okay, and for finding out all these things, sometimes we use certain formulas. So this contribution margin ratio is to be understood in that context, is to be used in there in those situations. So contribution margin ratio is equal to contribution margin divided by sales. Contribution per unit or divided by selling price per unit. Same thing, right? In total you can take, or in unit you can take. So the answer will be same. Right? So if you have written this thing, then we'll move to the next. Break even point. Break even point I already have discussed, and break even point you can find out using formula as well as the equation. Right? What is that equation? What is that equation? Equation says that profit equation is basically, if you recall your standard 6 and 7, when you have learned cost and profit, cost, that time you would have seen the equation is, basic equation is profit is equal to sales minus cost. Okay. And in our this chapter, how we write, or else you can write sales is equal to cost plus profit. Okay. Now, cost is consisting of two, variable and fixed. So my equation actually derived from here is sales is equal to variable expenses or variable cost plus fixed cost plus profit. Okay, variable expenses, fixed expenses, and profit. So this is the equation. Using this equation, we can find out all related questions. If I say what is my BP sales, BP sales means my profit is zero. So I write profit is equal to zero. So I just need to recover fixed expenses and variable expenses. Okay, so what I suggest you all to do, equation method, you just write down this, and in your what it is called a formula based method, you write down this. So once you write it down, thereafter we'll do the rest of the things. We'll discuss and start solving some of the questions to get the understanding. Okay, let's see this question number 6. The Alpine House Incorporation is a large retailer of winter sports equipment. An income statement for the company's key department for a recent quarter is presented below. This is the income statement we have been preparing earlier, where we used to write sales and then we deduct cost of goods sold and we get gross margin. From gross margin, we deduct operating expenses, selling and administrative, periodic expenses, and then we get the net operating profit. Okay. So I'm reading the rest part of the question, but I expect that all of you will also be going through it, because thereafter immediately I'll ask few questions. Skis sell on the average of for 750 per pair. Variable selling expenses are 50 per pair of skis sold. The remaining selling expenses are fixed. The administrative expenses are 20% variable and 80% fixed. The company doesn't manufacture its own skis. It purchases them from a supplier for 450. So there are 4-5 informations are given. One is the selling price per unit, and the other one is purchasing cost per unit. There is variable selling expenses, which is consisting of fixed and variable expenses. Administrative expenses is also having a cost, fixed and variable component. I want to ask all of you one question which you have to answer through chat. What is the number of units sold during the period? What is the number of units? Answer through chat. Six students have responded. I hope that few more students will. All right. So the number of units sold is 200, right? So all of you, those who have answered, all of you have said the same thing. How can we find out if every pair is sold for 750? If every pair is sold for 750, then 1,50,000 will be consisting of 200 pairs. Either you take it this, or you can take 90,000 is the cost of goods sold, and per unit cost of goods sold is 450. So that way also you can take 200. So 200 number of units are sold. Okay. Now my next question is, how much is the, out of this 30,000, there is variable as well as fixed expenses. How much of this is a fixed expense? How much of this selling expenses is fixed? Information is very clearly given in the question. You just need to go through it and find out. 24,000.
Sorry, sir.
Check it once again, all of you. 700. Tini, how did you get 700?
So I calculated for one pair.
No. Fixed cost in total. No? Fixed cost in total. Don't divide it.
Yes, yes.
Fixed selling expenses. I think some problem there, right? Okay, let me tell you. See, here it is very clearly given that selling expenses are 50 per pair skis is variable. And you are saying that 200 skis were sold. 200 into 50, variable is 10,000. And your total selling expenses is 30,000. From 30,000, if you deduct 10,000, rest is your fixed expenses, fixed selling expenses, that is 20,000. Okay. Right. So this is how we have to calculate it. 20,000 will be the answer. All right. Okay. Now let's move to the Excel file. Which one? Total is 28,000. But I asked selling, no? So here, this is the income statement which you have to prepare in contribution format. So first we will find out the variable expenses and fixed expenses. So sales is 750 into 200, 1,50,000. Per unit it is 750. Cost of goods sold 450. So 450 into 200, 90,000. Per unit it is 450. Selling expenses, just I explained, 50. So per unit it is 50. So for 200 unit it is 10,000. Administrative expenses, 20% is variable. So out of 10,000, 20% is coming 2,000. 2,000 is variable. Okay, so 10. This together 510. So contribution is 240. Total contribution 1,02,000 deducted from 1,50,000 is 48,000. Fixed cost, which we had calculated, 20,000 is out of selling expenses is fixed. Administrative expenses out of 10,000, 2,000 is variable, so 8,000 is fixed. Together it is 28,000. So if we deduct 28,000, profit is 20,000. Okay. Prepare an income statement for the quarter using contribution approach. So this is how you will be getting. For every pair of skis sold during the quarter, what was the contribution towards covering fixed expenses and toward earning profit? So contribution is something which contributes towards covering fixed expenses and earning profit. That is 240. Contribution per unit is per pair is 240. So this will be the answer. If you want to note it down, note it down. Okay, 2-3 minutes, take 2-3 minutes time. If you are having any doubt, please ask me first.
So what will be the answer for the second question?
Second question is asking like what is the contribution per pair? So contribution per pair is 240. 750 minus 510, 240.
Sir, how did you get the 2000 administrative expenses?
Is given in the question. No? The administrative expenses are 20% variable. So total administrative expenses is 10,000. 20% is variable, 80% is fixed.
Okay, sir.
All right.
So for finding the contribution margin, we have to deduct the administrative expenses, right?
For finding out the contribution margin, we have to deduct all variable expenses, right? So we have variable expenses like 450 cost of goods sold, because every unit you buy, you have to pay 450. Then 50 variable expenses per ski sold, variable selling expenses, it may be commission or something. Similarly, 20% variable expenses, 20% is coming 2000. That 2000 is for 200 units. So per unit it is 10. So we took 10 here, right? So you have to deduct all the variable expenses. If you want to find out contribution, you have to deduct all variable expenses, whether it is manufacturing, non-manufacturing, doesn't matter. If it is variable, it is to be deducted.
Okay, sir.
Okay, if this is done, we can move to the next question. Yes,
Yes, sir,
and
done.
this has already been shared with you, so you can always refer it there. Let's move to question number 4. Okay. Very interesting question. Fixed expenses are 30,000 per month. Selling price 90 less variable expenses. Both the things are given, per unit price and cost given, as well as percentage of sales is also given. So if your selling price is 90 and variable expenses is 63 over 90 is 70%. Contribution margin is 30%. So whatever sales you make, 30% is your saving. 30% is your contribution margin. Fixed expenses are 30,000 per month. The company is selling 2,000 units per month. So with this information, we first wanted to prepare the income statement with the existing profit figure. Okay, so we prepared this contribution format income statement with 2,000 units of sales, right? Here, total 2,000 units and then per unit. Sales 90 into 2,000, so that is coming 1,80,000. Less variable expenses. Okay, variable expenses 63 into 2,000. 63 into 2,000. This is the contribution margin 54,000. From contribution margin of 54,000, you deducted fixed cost 30,000 and you got a profit of 24,000. 54,000 minus 30,000, 24,000. Contribution 63,000. We don't deduct fixed cost because fixed cost is not a variable cost. First thing. Second, fixed cost will not remain same per unit. If your number of units is 2,000, you divide it by 2,000. If it becomes 5,000, you divide it by 5,000. So this keeps on changing. So you don't take into consideration while finding out per unit. While finding out per unit, you only take this into consideration. Okay. So this is the existing income status of the company. Okay. So you note it down first. Then we will discuss one more point, right? One more interesting point. We'll see that. Is there any doubt here in this part? I hope there will be no doubt. Let's come to this first point. The marketing manager argues that a 5,000 increase in monthly advertisement. That means if you are spending 5,000 on advertisement, your sales will increase by 9,000. Okay. Should the advertising budget be increased? Should we increase the advertising budget? Your answer will be either yes or no. Without going much deeper into the things, answer me fast through chat whether we'll go for it or not. Yes or no? Answer me. Yes. Answer me fast. One response I already have got. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 10 students, 10 to 11 students, those who are actually participating. Number ends here. All right. So some of you said, yes, we should do that advertisement. Some of you said, no, we should not do. Let's check it. Let's see why we get this kind of answer. So the moment it comes to us that our sales will increase by 9,000, we assume that as if we are having a profit of 9,000. Okay. Which is in reality, actually 9,000 is not my profit, 9,000 is sales. And 9,000 sales increase happens means I would have sold, if selling price is 90 per unit, I would have sold 100 additional units. And that is what happens in case of advertisement. If you do advertisement, your sales increases, volume increases. So you will be selling 100 units. But if you are selling 100 units, definitely you will be earning 9,000 more. But there is a variable cost for that also. So that variable cost will come 6,300. So how much saving you will have? You will have a saving of 2,700. Whereas your cost is 5,000. So your saving is less than your cost. So we will not go for it, right? That is the correct answer. Then the second thing, how can we find out that? There are various ways to find it out. How good you are in grasping these kind of things or getting this kind of situations. How good you are in figuring out the calculation. On that it depends, but there is no standard way. There are various ways. I got the answer like this. I can get the answer the other way also. Every unit I will get 27. So if I can sell 100 more units, I can save 2,700, and my additional cost is 5,000. Okay, that is one way. There is another way. For example, my contribution margin is 30%. So if I have a sales of 9,000, 30% will be my contribution margin. So I will get 2,700 as my contribution, and 5,000 is my cost. So I'll have a loss of 2,300 if I go for this, right? That is another way. So various ways are there. You can take the decision, and no binding that you have to take the decision in a particular way only. Management accounting is not putting any kind of compulsion there, right? So we will see that the answer we will always see. Now I want all of you to answer this question number 2. As gradually you are becoming more acquainted with this kind of situations, decisions, I hope that this time I'll get a bit correct answer. Refer to the original data. Management is considering using higher quality components that would increase the variable cost by ₹2. So if you use better quality of component, your variable cost will increase, right? And what will happen then? If you are using better quality of component, you can always claim to your customer, to your retailer. So there is a chance that your sales will increase. The marketing manager believes the higher quality product would increase sales by 10%. What is the current sales? Current sales is 2,000. If it increases by 10%, how much it will be? Should the higher quality 2,200? Should the higher quality component be used? Our answer will be either yes or no, right? Will use or not. So I'm expecting this from all of you. Please analyze the situation and give your answer. Avik, ask your question.
No, sir, I have done the solution. So,
Okay, good. So through chat, just write it down, yes or no. I'm not getting yes. I got 2 responses so far. All right. Some of you have answered. Let's see the answer. Let's see the answer. The first situation, I said there are different ways of answering it. So I prepared here, one income statement is prepared once again with 100 more units of sales. 100 more units of sales means your sales will become 1,89,000 instead of 1,80,000. Variable expenses will become 63 into 2,100. Contribution margin, fixed cost is increased by 5,000, and you saw that the profit has decreased. The profit was 24,000, that has become 21,700, 2,300 less. So if we go for advertisement, we were not going to have more profit, so we'll not go for it. Okay, so we'll not go for it. Second one, if you are using a better quality of component, what will happen if you use better quality of component? If you use better quality of component, then your variable expenses will increase. Okay, your variable expenses will increase. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, your variable expenses will increase. So that will become, instead of 63, will become 65. And what else will happen? The volume of sales will increase. 2,000 will become 2,200. Let's take that and then find it out what is happening. We found that your now sales will be 2,200 into the selling price was 90. That is coming 198,000. Okay, 1,98,000. And then 2,200 into 65. 1,43,000 will be your variable expenses. So if you deduct this from this, you get a contribution which is 55,000. And from that 55,000, if you deduct fixed cost 30,000, because your fixed cost is not changing, your profit is 25,000. The existing profit is 24,000. But if you take this decision, your profit will increase by 1,000 more. So we will go for it. Second one will go for it. First one will not go for it. Okay, just note it down. If you want to note it down, please note it down. And then we'll move to other questions. We have got some very interesting questions. We'll be doing it in the next. Any question you are having? Anybody is having any question?
No, sir.
All right, let's move to the next question because the Excel has already been shared. So we have got lot many things to do. So today I'm going a little fast. Okay. Now this is question number 8. And so listen this question very carefully, understand it, whatever I'll be discussing, because next question you have to do. So there are 3 information given: selling price, variable cost, and what it is, fixed cost. If I put it here in a graph, my fixed cost, this is my rupees. And this is volume. When volume is 0, still fixed cost is 42. Fixed, na? So when volume increases 100, 200, 300, fixed cost remains same. Same 4,200. If I sell 1 unit, my variable cost will be 12. I don't draw it here because my fixed cost is already here and I want to draw a total cost line. So the variable component, I add it here. If it is 100, the variable cost is 1,200. And if it is 200, variable cost is 2,400, like this. Okay. So variable cost component is going like this. This part is variable and this is fixed. This is total cost line. If then sales line, I would like to draw the sales line. If my sales is 0, then 0. No rupees. But if my sales is 100, 100 into 15, 1,500. If my sales is 200, it will be 3,000. So at a particular point, if my selling price is more than the variable cost, the sales line will cross the total cost line. So this is the point where your sales and cost are same. You can get this point here like this. Okay, this is in units. What is this? Break-even point. Break-even units. If in the other line, if you get it like this, here also this is BP, but BP in rupees. This is BP in units, this is BP in rupees. Okay. Now, if I sell anything more than this BP, I sell it here. What it is? It is safe area. I sell anything here. So suppose my sales is here. Okay, so this is from this number of units to this number of units. This is called margin of safety. Units. And here also, this is also margin of safety, but in rupees. So what is margin of safety? Over break-even point, if you sell, that is called margin of safety. The other thing, there is an angle formed. This angle is formed by two lines. One is a cost line, the sales line. And the cost varies because of the variable cost, and sales varies because of the selling price or sales volume. This angle is because of the contribution, right? There is a contribution. There is a difference between variable cost and fixed cost, and because of that, this line is there. So this is called angle of incidence. Bigger the angle, bigger is the contribution margin. So if contribution margin is 20%, your angle may come like this, right? If it is 60%, it will come like this. So it depends that how much contribution margin you are having. But this is called angle of incidence. This is profit, and this part is loss. This part is loss. And this part is, this part is profit. Okay. So leave that. So here we have information. 15 is the selling price, and 12 is the variable cost, 3 is the contribution, and you have to recover 4,200. So I need to sell 1,400 units. 1,400 units I need to sell if I have to get the contribution equal to my fixed cost. Because if I sell 1,400 units, every unit will save me 3 rupees, and that will become 4,200. And 4,200 is equal. So this is called break-even point. So if I can sell 1,400 units, I'll have no profit, no loss, because my contribution will be equal to my fixed cost. How to find out this? There are two ways. I think I already have discussed this equation method. Equation says sales is equal to total variable cost plus total fixed cost plus profit. And the other method is contribution formula method. You either take contribution per unit, divide fixed cost by contribution per unit. The way I had done 4,200, I divided it by 3 or 1,400. That way, or you can find out the contribution margin ratio, and fixed cost divided by contribution margin ratio will also give you BP, but not in units, but in rupees. So you will get 20. Okay. So we are first asked to find out the BP using equation method. So let's use that equation method. What is that? Equation sales equal to variable cost
plus fixed cost plus profit.
Right? So we will use this always. But this we want to find out the BP sales. So let BP sales be X. So what we will write in equation? What will be the sales? This first I will write sales. No?
15.
Sales will be
15.
15x. Okay. And what will be variable cost?
12.
12x.
12x. And what will be fixed cost?
4,200.
4,200. And what will be profit?
0.
Profit will be 0. Okay. So if I calculate it, 3x is equal to 4,200 and x is equal to 1,400 in units and in rupees 21,000. Okay. So this is the standard equation we will be using wherever. If you are given that you have to earn 10,000 profit, I will put 10,000 as profit instead of writing 0. Okay, so that will be my standard equation. If not this, then I will use this fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. So fixed cost 4,200 divided by contribution per unit is 3,1,400. Right? There is no difference. It is given in formula and but derived from this equation. The other way is contribution margin ratio. Contribution margin ratio is contribution divided by sales. So contribution is 3 divided by sales 15 is 0.2. And using this contribution margin ratio, also you can find out the volume of the value of sales where you will have break-even point. Okay, so fixed cost divided by contribution margin ratio, that is coming 20,000. Right, that is coming 21,000. Okay, now if I would have profit, I said 4,200 is my fixed cost. If I want to have a profit of 900, I will add 900. Then divided by the contribution per unit or contribution margin ratio. If I take unit, then I will get number of units. If I take contribution margin ratio, then I will get total sales value. Okay, so 4,200 plus 900 divided by 3. What I am doing? Fixed cost plus desired profit. I write plus desired profit divided by contribution per unit. This contribution is very important. This is only actually adding to my profit after recovering fixed cost. So if I can increase this contribution, if I can increase the gap between the variable cost and fixed selling price, that is always beneficial for the organization. Okay. So if you want to note it down, please note it down, or else we'll move to the next question and possibly I'll ask you to do that question. Okay. All right. So if all of you are saying, right. So this is another question. Okay, so the question information is here. Linko Corporation has a single product whose selling price is 120, whose variable cost is 80. The company's monthly expenses is 50,000. We assume that this monthly expenses is fixed cost. Using the equation method, solve for the unit sales that are required to earn a target profit of 10,000. So instead of putting profit 0, you will write with 10,000. Using the contribution margin approach, solve the dollar. So using that contribution margin approach, find it out. If you want to find out using contribution margin approach, your formula will be like this: sales or desired profit is equal to fixed cost plus desired profit divided by contribution margin ratio. You can write contribution margin per unit. Per unit, it will give you unit. But if you want to have in rupees, then you can write contribution margin ratio. And this is contribution divided by sales. Okay. So I'm giving 3 minutes time to solve both the questions, and then we'll have discussion. And send me through chat. First point, second point. First point you answer first, then you answer the second point. Using the equation method, we can put the equation like this. Sales is equal to cost plus fixed cost plus profit. Okay. Sales is how much? Sales is 120x. X will assume variable cost 80x, fixed cost 50,000, profit 10,000. Okay, so 40x is equal to 60,000. X is equal to very good. Those who have got 100, they are right. So 1500. Using contribution margin approach, solve the dollar sales that are required to earn. Dollar sales, it is rupees. Actually, I have not corrected it. The first part here has been changed. So rupees required to earn a target profit of 15,000. Okay. So if I change it to 15,000, this will become another 5,000 divided by 40, 61. How many more units you have to sell? 5,125. So 1625 will be answer, right? That is in units. In dollar, you have to find out, and you have to find out using the formula. So let's see it. How it is done. Okay. So, what 1500 in using contribution margin. So, find out the contribution margin per unit. Then you have a desired profit. So, the formula is fixed cost plus desired profit divided by contribution per unit or contribution margin ratio. So, you get this answer 1625 and 1,95,000 rupees. Your fixed cost is 50,000 plus 15,000 you want to have profit, so you need to recover 65,000. Per unit contribution is 40. So 65,000 divided by 40 is 1625. This is one way. Otherwise, you can use that contribution margin ratio, 40 divided by 120. Contribution margin ratio is equal to contribution divided by sales, which is 33%. So taking that 33 1/3%. Also, you can get directly 1,95,000. Approximately, it will come. Little bit of difference will be there because you are taking 0.33, not exactly that value. Okay,
So
I hope
if
that.
you take 0.3, then it is coming into like 16,000 something.
Which one, Oliver?
Sir, in the contribution margin ratio, if we are taking only 0.3, then we are getting a value of 2,16,000.
Yes, that difference will come, right? If you are taking, say, 33 or 33.3, so that difference will come, right? It should come almost near to that. You have taken 33.3.
I have taken 0.3, means 0.3 only, 30.
65,000 divided by 33.3. You'll get, okay, in units, this 0.33. If you take 0.3, you will get this much. If you add 1 point, another 3, you will get this much. If you add. Okay, so I will suggest don't take only 0.3 because it is 33, no? So you can take 0.33, no? 0.33, at least 2 digit you take. Otherwise, the difference will be very big. Okay, so very simple equation method and contribution margin method. Let's move to another question. Yes. Miller Company's most recent contribution format income statement is shown below. Sales 20,000 units, 15 per unit, 3 lakh total sales, variable expenses 1,80,000, contribution margin 1,20,000, fixed expenses 70,000, net operating income 50,000. Prepare a new contribution format income statement under each of the following conditions. Consider each case independently. The sales volume increases by 15%. So these are 4 independent cases, right? One case has got nothing to do with the second case. So when you will be analyzing the first case, you will be thinking about the first case only. Rest of the information you will not take into consideration. So 15% volume increases. Okay. Just it's a change of year and they are expecting that the volume will increase by 15%. So what will be the new volume? What will be the new volume? $20,000 plus 3,000.
3,000, 23,000.
23. Taking 23,000 into consideration, you will do the calculation. 23,000 into 15, that will come 3,45,000. 23,000 into 9, 2,07,000. This is the contribution, and from that contribution, if you deduct fixed cost more or less remains fixed. So you get a profit. Your profit will increase by 18,000. Okay, I can, without doing all these things also, I can say profit will increase by 15,000, 18,000. How? If I know that 3,000 will be my increase in volume, I know that every unit contributes 6. So 6 into 3,000, I'll be able to do that. Yes, profit will increase by 18,000 if this happens. Okay. Now coming to the second case. Go through the second case, then I will discuss. The solution is there in the right side, so you can always refer it if you need. Second case is saying that selling price decreases by 1.50. It is very obvious that if you decrease the selling price, your sales will increase and sales volume will increase by 25%. So this 20,000 will increase by another 5,000. Will become 25,000. So there are 2 changes happening. One, selling price decreased and volume increased. We have to see whether it is profitable for the organization, whether it increases the profit or not. So if it is 25,000, but the selling price is no more 15, it is 13.5. So 25,000 into 13.5 is 3,37,500, our total sales. Our variable cost is same 9 rupees per unit. So 9 into 25,000 is 2,25,000. So contribution is 1,12,500. Difference between these two. Fixed cost is same 70,000. So your profit is decreasing by 42,500. Why? Because you have decreased your selling price. Please check it once again. I don't know. Possibly I would have done some mistake somewhere.
Directly you can do that. 13.5 minus 9 equal to 5
4.5
into 5,000.
4.5 into 25,000. Na?
Oh, sorry, 25,000. 25,000.
No, that you can 25,000 and
So
minus,
yes,
then you have to deduct fixed cost.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Then you have to deduct fixed cost also. My calculation is correct or not?
Yes, sir, it is coming for like 42,500.
Good, very good.
Sir, directly we can into 5,000. We can do that. 5,000 into 4.5.
For 5,000 into 4.5, what we will get then?
How much we loss or how much we profit?
You will get 22,500.
Yes.
But then I am not getting the 22,500 is what actually 22,500. In this context, if you are changing 22,500 is what? Is increase or decrease?
Decrease.
But earlier our profit was 50,000. Now it has only decreased by 7,500.
Okay.
I see what you are saying, that can be applied, but I don't think here it can be applied, right? That can be applied. That we apply in many situations. We only see that changes in contribution. But in this case, 13.5. So 4.5 is the contribution. But that, see what is happening now. When you are decreasing the selling price, you cannot decrease the selling price for additional sales. You have, if you are decreasing the selling price, then you have to decrease the selling price for all the customer, right? So it will be on 25,000, not on 4,000, that 5,000, right? You
Okay.
cannot say
Okay,
that
sir.
price now, right? So for that reason, we'll take 20,500. Okay, there are two more situations which I want all of you to do it, not now, do it at your convenient time. We will do one more interesting question. I say it interesting because the knowledge you have acquired till now will get an opportunity to check that knowledge, check that skill, whether you are really in a position to do it. Little new, little different, but very interesting. Some of you will definitely be able to do it if you try. And there is nothing wrong in trying. So try even if you're getting something, not getting the whole thing. This is the information. A company has a contribution sales ratio of 40%. What does it mean by contribution sales ratio?
Contribution margin.
Contribution margin. That is contribution divided by sales. Contribution divided by sales. Now, how do we get contribution? We get contribution when we deduct sales minus variable cost is equal to contribution. Okay, contribution. So what it says, if you deduct variable cost from sales, you get contribution. The other way, if you deduct contribution from sales, you get variable cost. Okay, so if contribution sales ratio is 40%, then variable cost ratio is 60% because sales is 100. Out of sales, you have got two things, contribution and variable cost. If contribution is 40%, sales is 60%, variable cost is 60%. Okay. So why I have done this? This you will be applying in point D. Before that, we have got two more information. It maintains a margin of safety of 20% and a fixed cost amount rupees 24 lakhs. Okay, margin of safety. What is margin of safety? That I discussed it in the beginning. Margin of safety is equal to your actual sales minus BEP sales. It can both be in rupees as well as in units. If you take in units, you have to take unit sales, you have to take BEP unit sales. There is another term called margin of safety ratio. As we have got contribution ratio, contribution margin ratio, margin of safety ratio. That is margin of safety divided by sales. And I said that margin of safety is something which you get once you get the break-even point. After break-even point, whatever sales you will have is your margin of safety. There you cannot have profit if you are having a positive difference between your sales and variable cost. So this is margin of safety. So margin of safety is actual sales. If your actual sales is here and BEP sales is here, this is your margin of safety. And whatever is the margin of safety, if you multiply contribution with that, you get profit. You don't need to, because at this point at BEP, you don't have any profit. You have profit when you sell more than BEP. So that differential sales will, whatever will have the contribution, that becomes the profit. Okay. So my next formula is profit is equal to margin of safety, if it is in units, into contribution per unit, or margin of safety in rupees into contribution margin ratio. Contribution margin ratio. So 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 3 has got 2 components. Note it down and then try to find out these things. I am giving you 3 minutes time. Wait and find out these things. Whatever you will be find out, first try to find out the break-even point. Then you try to find out the margin of safety. And then share it to me through chat. Very interesting. All right. So you first find out the BEP. So BEP is how much? BEP is 60 lakhs. Good. 60 lakh is the BEP. Then margin of safety, the formula I was saying, margin of safety percentage, which is given here. The formula is equal to margin of safety divided by sales. This is actual sales, right? So margin of safety divided by actual sales. Now what is margin of safety? Margin of safety is equal to actual sales minus BEP. And what we don't know actual sales. So you have X, you will be coming. So that will come. Margin of safety is 20%, 0.20. Actual sales is X minus BEP is 60 lakhs divided by again actual sales X. Okay, so this divided by X. So when you solve this, saying anything? And when you solve this, you get X as 75 lakhs. X is your actual sales. So your margin of safety is 75 lakhs minus 60 lakh, 15 lakh. Right? So you got this, you got this, you got this. Total variable cost, whatever is your actual sales, 60% of that, because contribution margin is 40%. Rest is variable cost. That is your variable cost. Profit. For profit, I said in margin of safety, whatever contribution you get, that is your profit, because there is no break-even point. There is no fixed cost. Fixed cost is recovered at break-even point, and margin of safety is over break-even point. Right? At break-even point, you have recovered all fixed cost. Thereafter, whatever you sales, that is 15 lakhs. 15 lakhs is your sales over break-even point, because your sales is 75. Your BEP is 16. So in this 15 lakhs, whatever contribution you get, contribution margin you get, that is 40%. That is your profit. 6 lakh. So all 6 lakh is your profit. Okay, so this has been given. There are 2 more questions which you can do it on your own, right? Means the solution is already there. You just need to go through the question, develop the understanding about it, and then solve it, right? The Excel sheet 10 and 9 given there is related to those 2 questions. I hope it is clear to all of you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Right, good. Let's move to the attendance part. Avinash
Present, sir.
Avinash Patnaik,
Present, sir.
Aditi